Woke up, hopped out of bed, feeling great. Felt refreshed as the shower water hit my face. Headed to the kitchen and I'm about to get a plate. Chest up, shoulders back, yeah, I'm walking straight.
Yeah guys, morning. What's up from beautiful Vancouver? We got here yesterday. I'm here actually at the moment for a job with my friend Tomi, Gadgets Boys, shooting some content. That's the sort of kind of main objective for the day, but I'm going to take you along with me with the brand new iPhone 14 Pro. I'm going to film as much as I can on the iPhone 14 Pro. I will mark which camera. Like for instance, right now you're seeing the front-facing camera, increased resolution front-facing camera in 4K, 25 frames a second. And of course we will be keeping track of the battery life throughout the day to see how these cameras perform and see whether it can stand a full day of content creation. All right, without further ado, let's go.
Okay, so in terms of the iPhone we're using, this is the iPhone 14 Pro. It's not the iPhone 14 Pro Max. This is the smaller 6.1-inch version. Definitely big enough for me. I absolutely love this phone size. It is the deep purple color variation. Again, also loving the color. In terms of a case, this is the daily case that I rock. This is the brown leather, tan leather version of the Apple case for the iPhone 14 Pro. I do love these cases. I think it's the closest experience you get to using a phone without a case, obviously because they are designed by Apple, but obviously still protecting the phone. Very, very quick battery check here. Currently at 94%. It is 8:45 a.m. There's a quick sneak peek at my YouTube analytics for anyone who's interested. Just gonna go finish packing my kit. I normally get a fair few questions about the kit that I bring for this type of thing. First of all, let's actually just zoom out, go to the ultra wide so you guys can see what's going on here. So this is quite a light shoot. In terms of the camera body, this is the Canon EOS R6. So that's the kind of main driver for all of the content that we're shooting today, predominantly social media content. And then I've just got 3 lenses with me, pretty minimal in terms of kit. So I've got a 24 to 105 f4. This is an EF lens, and then I have one of the RF lenses that I own. This is a 7200 f4. This is basically one of my favorite lenses that I own. Like, look at that. That's absolutely just crazy. You get so much reach out of this just tiny little zoom lens. And then a 35 RF 1.8, just an absolute classic. Gives me a little bit wider at a nice shallow depth of field. And I also have a gimbal with me, the Zion Crane 2S. Still one of my favorite gimbals that I've actually ever used, like just so reliable and powerful. I just never have to worry about this one. So this is basically the kit for the entire shoot.
Better times, better times, better times, good vibes, now we living in the better times.
Oh yeah, we on chill time. Walk in, you can feel why. Some beaming on the ground, you feel it all around. The love's so real, you can hear it in the sound, yeah. Just chill,
So this
hand at the wheel.
is the car that we're checking out today. We're here filming for Bentley. It's Tomi. Looking like it's gonna be a good day. So like I said, we're in Vancouver and this is for a Bentley press trip. For a bit of context, Tomi does a ton of car coverage. Massive shout out to Tomi for sort of letting me film this on this trip, because obviously the main purpose was for me to shoot content for him whilst we were here, which of course we did at the same time. I will of course link his channel down below in the description. So Tomi's sort of testing this Bentayga EWB. It's an extended wheelbase version of the Bentley Bentayga. Throughout this video, you're going to be seeing a number of photos shot and edited in Apple Pro Raw. These are actually using my new Apple Pro Raw presets that I've basically sort of created throughout editing a whole bunch of Pro Raw shots. Just a side note, these will only work on Apple Pro Raw shots. Don't go using those on normal JPEGs. So you will need an iPhone that shoots RAW in DNG files in order to use those presets. A massive advantage of the iPhone, which is kind of underrated, everyone say hi to Tomi, is that how easy it is to film in these types of situations. Filming with a camera in a car like this, not that easy. So yeah, just like iPhone for content creation sometimes. Super powerful. Another little battery check. We're kind of halfway through the day at this point. Took a little bit of time to get on the road, but the battery's sitting at 64%. It's 2:19 p.m, 3 hours and 13 minutes of screen on time. And obviously we've been shooting a ton of content as well with all of the cameras, of course, which has quite a bit of battery drain. So at this point, we're kind of running into Whistler Park. We had a little stop just to shoot some content with the cars.
Tommy's also on the 14 Pro down here. Look at that. That's not the Pro Max, right? That's the normal. It's the Max. Oh, it's the Max.
Man, we couldn't ask for better subjects than these cars, really. Little spot of iPhone content creation. Like, just look at this backdrop. This definitely has to be one of the best backdrops I think I've ever used in terms of content creation. Here's some stills. These are just a couple of JPEGs pulled out of the camera. But then I also shot some 4K video, as you can see. Let's take a quick look at this shot. This was in 60 frames a second at 4K with the main rear-facing camera. But then if I actually throw on some stabilization in Final Cut Pro, like, this legit looks like a gimbal. I know that obviously we have that stabilization mode, the action mode stabilization on the iPhone 14 Pro. Personally, I don't actually think you need it. Just whack on some stabilization in post if you are pulling in your video into any video editing software. So after this, about halfway through the day, they actually took us to the top of the Olympic ski jumping route. And like, as you can see, this is like insanely high. Like, what a view. But honestly, also, these guys have absolute balls of steel. Like, this is just absolutely mad. That was after a pretty epic drive through the Vancouver mountains. And this is our lunch spot. Talk about an experience. Amazing content with the cars. And the iPhone's helping us capture it all. We are on probably one of the best roads in Canada, I'm sure. Like, look at this route. Absolutely crazy, and what a car. Tommy is absolutely loving this life over here.
Mate.
Tommy, you enjoying yourself?
No. It's stunning.
Yeah.
Look at that.
What do you think of the car?
Mate. Listen to it.
Woo!
Move out the way.
So this is the part of the day that went from crazy to like ridiculously crazy, because we actually got set up with an air transfer back from where we were in the Vancouver mountains to Vancouver Centre, and this was by Seaplane. And this basically resulted in just one of the best content opportunities I think I've ever personally had. So we took off from that lake, which you've previously saw, and then these sort of slightly lower, I guess lower altitude mountains were absolutely beautiful and green. You get the kind of emerald colors of the lakes. This is where the sort of lens set on the iPhone 14 Pro comes into real handy. Like, you can go from ultra wide to the wide to the 2x, then to the 3x. I actually shot the 3x an absolute ton. And when we got to the snowy mountains, like, this 3x just became absolutely insane. And a huge advantage over a traditional camera is because of the stabilization level on the iPhone. The iPhone shots actually came out quite a lot more usable than my camera shots. Like, it just genuinely wasn't really possible. Like, I had to shoot away a lot to get usable shots on my R6 in terms of stills, but the iPhone was capturing it perfectly pretty much every time, as you can see through some of these shots shot on Apple Pro Raw. I have to say, personally, these are the best photos that I've ever got on an iPhone. That 3x telephoto zoom for landscape photography like this, just pretty much unrivaled with anything that I've shot personally. You know, if I had, you know, potentially like the Samsung S22 Ultra, I think you probably could have got the same level of photograph, but a lot of this type of thing is situation. I had the iPhone with me, and man, did it deliver. And then much too quickly at the end of the plane ride, very smooth landing, to be fair, considering quite how bumpy some of the flight was. That was probably one of the coolest experiences of my life, and now we'll go back to the hotel. Oh, first of all, has anyone ever seen a wooden hotel keycard? I didn't know that was a thing that existed, so, you know, that was fun. But back here after a busy day of shooting. It is 6:11 p.m. We're running at 4 hours screen time, which is not an absolute ton of screen time. It's not like I've been using the phone relentlessly today, but I have been filming an absolute ton. A small disclaimer on, obviously, the battery life test. I'm away in Canada. I'm not out and about connected to LTE, so the only time I'm using radios on the phone are when I'm connected to Wi-Fi, which has probably been about, I would say, a third to, you know, 30 to 40% of the day I've been on Wi-Fi today, which is, I think, why the battery life is standing up quite so well, because we're currently sitting at about 40% battery life. But I've obviously been using the camera an absolute ton, which is a massive impact on battery, of course. So it's kind of interesting to see how the battery life has been doing. At this point, pleasantly surprised, because normally the battery life is absolutely destroyed by running the camera on an iPhone. So the iPhone 14 does
seems to be holding up pretty well. Lots of fun on that drive. I'm just going to go and already start to edit some of the photos and the videos, and then yeah, we're going to get on with the rest of the day. Not too much more, so the iPhone battery should hold out for the rest of the day, but I think we're going out for dinner, so we'll see how that does. I'll take some shots of the food and the drink, and yeah, we'll see how the rest of the day goes.
I'm going to take a second to talk about Dynamic Island, the new iPhone feature on the iPhone 14 Pro. Not that it really matters, I just thought this was funny. You can obviously immediately see the Dynamic Island in terms of the components in the sun. Like, I just think that's a funny point that Apple have kind of allowed. But just on the off chance that there's anyone watching this who is thinking of upgrading perhaps from the iPhone 12 Pro, 13 Pro, and they're kind of considering Dynamic Island as a feature to do that, I would basically say never do it. Like, at the moment in this state, I'm not sure whether this is going to get a lot better in terms of whether developers actually start using this a bit more. On the whole, this has improved my life zero. It's an okay feature, but right now pretty much useless. You can only do a few things with it, and to be honest, I was kind of happy, just as happy with the way it worked on the last iPhones.
I'm like realizing that I have just these enormous bags under my eyes just because I'm so jet lagged. I think it's 3 a.m. right now back home. We had a 9-hour flight. We're only here for like 3-4 days tops. So 9-hour flight, then a 9-hour flight back, and I'm just trying not to wreck my sleep too much. But man, this is a struggle right now. 7:15 p.m, about to head out for dinner. You know how I said that there wasn't really much phone usage time left in the day? In classic Tom Rich fashion, I just spent half an hour watching Fortnite videos, which is one of my absolute guilty pleasures, which I guess is typical of a day in my life anyway. So screen time now up to 4 hours 43 minutes, and we're at 26% battery life.
And then we got treated to this amazing meal. I went for tuna steaks. So if you're looking at taking lots of beautiful high resolution photos and video of food with the iPhone, let it be known that it does deliver. Like, look at the colors on this. And had to finish it off with a chocolate molten dessert, and I'll give you some oozing goodness on that one, so enjoy that for anyone who likes chocolate desserts.
So just got back from dinner, pretty shattered if I don't say so myself, but hopefully you guys have enjoyed this sort of day in the life. The current screen time is 5 hours 20 minutes, which is probably in line actually with my daily average. I do think the battery would have run out if I was using full signal LTE, 5G, whatever you want to call it, out and about on the shoots. I think the fact that I wasn't doing that did obviously help the battery performance. With that being said, I am really impressed with the battery on the iPhone 14 Pro. Definitely my iPhone 13 would have died with the amount of content that I've shot today. I've shot an absolute ton, as you've obviously been seeing. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the day in the life in this shoot. Pretty exceptional one. Not every day is like this, sadly. Obviously I didn't shoot all of this video with the iPhone 14 Pro. Some of the clips have been with my Canon EOS R6, and if you want to watch how that camera compared to the iPhone 14 Pro, you can check out this video right here.